When it came to government propagandists and hustler publicists, we only had a few threats to be afraid of in the old days in the field of media. They posed substantial risks, yet being vigilant served as a straightforward safeguard against them. Nowadays, nothing can avoid exaggeration, distortion, falsification, or simplification thanks to our blog and web-driven media cycle. Today's media, which is primarily driven by the masses, is under constant attack from businesses crippling economics, dishonest sources, false information, greedy publishers, subpar media training, and a collection of other factors. No matter where you come from, these insinuations are genuine. Everything you read online is distorted in one way or another. YouTube clickbait and paid Wikipedia edits are just the beginning, and we,
Paul Gabriel A. Bagao,
Mikhail Alexi Hatulan,
and I, Robin Stauffer, are here to help you see it through the end with our presentation.
For today, we will be discussing media manipulation, along with the potential types of media manipulation that can pose a potential threat towards the awareness and intellect of today's media consumers. In other words, that is you, our dear viewers. To start it off, let me ask you, what is media manipulation? Don't worry about answering this because it's rhetorical. Media manipulation, in essence, is the art of manipulating media, especially to one's own advantage. And how does this work exactly? The manipulator employs strategies and techniques to create an image or argument to the audience that favors their particular interests. In fact, many of these techniques are types of distractions, as they operate under the assumption that the audience, namely you, have a limited attention span.
media manipulation comes from the use of media for personal gain, and since its origin from the 19th century, it has been an important part of printed journalism. After all, it is sensationalism that helps sell newspapers, especially because fake stories can garner the eyes of potential readers. Nowadays, media has evolved, manifesting to different forms and appearing everywhere globally. Pictures and videos are being shared through social media, and documents and stories are being posted online for all to see. People can communicate with each other more efficiently because of the higher developed media technology. However, it is through the same tools that people are able to modify media to suit their own agendas. Businesses promote themselves through ads, the government asserts itself with propaganda, and common content creators use techniques to make them or their content more appealing. Anything can go when it comes to manipulating the media.
The problem with that is that the media can be manipulated for nefarious purposes. It can range from the simple frauds of disinformation to deliberately tricking the public into supporting a figure or belief by negatively affecting the image of the other parties. Media manipulators can blind audiences by presenting a one-sided argument while employing methods that can distract them from seeing the bigger picture. This cycle of manipulation is also further perpetuated because of what media people click instead of what media is important, building up a status quo that can be observed every day.
Of course, there are also various types of media manipulation, especially potentially malicious ones. But for now, we have 5 common examples that you might have encountered previously before you somehow found this video. Our first example of a potentially malicious media manipulation type is a hoax. A hoax is basically a deliberately fabricated falsehood made to masquerade as truth. This can be done in multiple ways, like writing urban legends or using true statements with unfamiliar wordings. Take for example, if I were to say that dihydrogen monoxide contributes to the greenhouse effect even though it is used as a flame retardant, would you believe me? Well, it is just water, the statement is technically true, but confusion can be generated to those who are not familiar with the term, and the statement can be misinterpreted in different ways.
If media can be manipulated by changing its content, then it can also be manipulated by withholding it as well. Our second type of media manipulation is gatekeeping. As the name implies, this type of manipulation refers to the process of filtering information before it is spread. In essence, gatekeepers decide what information should move to what individual or group and what information should not. This method is used everywhere, especially when it comes to news media wherein certain topics may not be reported because it is either damaging to the reputation or because the story is neither famous nor socially acceptable. With gatekeeping, it is possible to measure and control the reactions or responses of the audience in a more subdued and positive manner. But it is also possible to create civil unrest among the people with media manipulation. This type of media manipulation is called fear-mongering, or the use of scare tactics. By exaggerated rumors of impending dangers, the manipulator can cause the target audience to fear the world more than they should. Acts of terrorism and the adoption of policies that encourage violent struggles are examples of how that type of media manipulation can be used in the field of psychological warfare.
The two previous types of media manipulation are typically applied to large groups of people, and the same can be said for our next type of media manipulation, crowd manipulation. Its classification is more nuanced in nature since it is a collective of different techniques. But the general idea behind it is that the manipulator deliberately uses crowd psychology to influence their behavior towards a certain idea or action. They can utilize principles like the bandwagon effect in order to move people to act in the way they want to, like how businesses advertise their products. And finally, our final type of media manipulation is propaganda. In its most basic form, this comprises media that is geared for influencing an audience towards a political agenda. However, the information being shared through this type of manipulation may not necessarily be objective. It can make use of loaded language to incite an emotional response. It can withhold information deliberately, put focus on one side of a political viewpoint, and it can directly cause the defamation of other political figures, organizations, or policies to further exemplify the intentions of the manipulator.
Media manipulation is not limited to these 5 types, and manipulated media is not always used for bad purposes. Some manipulated media can be used to help in economics, where goods and services can be promoted through the use of advertisement. On the other hand, media manipulation can help people confront controversial social issues by raising awareness of the cause, like how this video is meant to raise awareness of the idea of media manipulation.
With your newfound knowledge in media manipulation, we encourage you to be vigilant. Be vigilant in the way you consume and scrutinize media, and be responsible in the way you create and share media because we are all connected through multimedia. And whatever we do can affect others and return to us. To finish this off, we want you to keep these 3 things in mind to become literate in media and information. Remember to
Think wisely.
Create smartly.
share information responsibly.